Welcome to the July 17th Wetland Coastal Dune Board meeting. The first item on the agenda is to do a roll call. So Mike Hudson,
Here.
present. Bill
Robertson.
Yep. And you're present. And Liz is present. And so we have a quorum. So we will call the meeting to order. Next order of business is going to be if we could rise and do a moment of silence. And then we'll do a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Seated. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, approval of the format and approval of the previous September 2023 minutes. So if we had a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
And a second from the second? Second. Thank you. Any discussion on the previous agenda or anything from the previous meeting, Mike? Do you have any discussion? All right. So all in favor of accepting it?
Aye.
All right.
Unanimous.
That completes the consent agenda. Next item is new business. And I guess we'll hand it off to Katie and Jack to discuss the multiple JPA applications.
Sure. Welcome back. It's been a year.
Yeah.
I think. So we have 6 applications that have come into our office. They come in as JPAs, joint permit applications, which are filed through VMRC or Virginia Marine Resources Commission. Once we receive them, we then review them. We do inform you when we get these applications in. And most times, if they can be handled by right, we will just handle them administratively as a by right approval. All of these actually do rise to that threshold, but because you are a relatively new board in terms of membership and your experience here, and there's been enough communication to my office from other people who were unclear of the process, we felt it would be beneficial to pull you into a meeting, make sure everybody's good on the process, and get us to our annual meeting, which we need to do at least once a year, meet, and have a general conversation about these to make sure everybody's good with the process. You've had a chance to look at the applications. As I've indicated to you, I am not an engineer, so I can't say that I know exactly how to read plans relative to an engineering perspective. I do have enough familiarity with building plans and site plans to read things. I do not think any of these will change the contour of the dune, but I welcome your input if there's something you have seen in your experience that you're bringing to the table to shed light on this. So with that said, for the public's knowledge, the applications, the bulk of them, 5 of them are dealing with property on Carousel Place in Bay Creek and Bayside Village specifically. And I'm going to list them all the way down. There's 604, 614, 616, 620, and 624 Carousel Place. And they all are essentially looking for the same item. There may be some change in dimension of the length of these depending upon where they sit on the arch of the beachfront. So I'll stop there and see if you have any questions on 1 through 5.
No, they appear like they're almost adjacent properties, right? So seem to be pretty standard. Also, it seems like it's kind of like at the U of the dune too, so it's not
Yes.
that deep as well.
So I will make you aware that I did reach out to the developer and to the homeowners association, not to any of the individual property owners who apply, but to those 2 entities, to make them aware of these applications, and again, understanding that there can be one for every single lot on that frontage. And so we could have these at every single lot. We're not done yet. We're getting close to all the lots getting developed, but there could be more of these applications forthcoming, and I believe there will be. And would they want to approach any of the property owners to see if they might want to share
That's exactly
That would
right.
be nice.
some of these.
Because
Yeah.
they could bring it together and then just have one go
That's
down.
correct. So it's not an effort I initiated on my office in any way, shape, or form. I alerted those two entities that have some interface with the owners, and I did not hear back that they wanted to drop any one of these applications.
Just, it appears that it's very similar to the ones that were approved like 3 years ago, it looks like. And you can see those on here. So
Yes.
It shouldn't, alter the contour any. One concern I had is reviewing the applications, they didn't go to the adjacent landowners to see if there was an issue with it. They listed them, but they never approved that.
They actually did send out notification. They notify them an application has been filed. They were required to do that when they file a JPA application.
All right.
And so it's up to them at that point, if any adjacent property has an issue, that actually is communicated back to VMRC. They are the
Okay.
clearinghouse for
I
that.
just looked at the form and it listened, but nobody
Yes.
signed it,
No.
so I didn't know.
No,
if
that was at the start, and again, that comes in at the tail end as this moves through the VMRC review process.
Copy, okay.
So, I did check their website as of Friday, and no, there had been no documentation, no letters received, nothing further had come in from any adjacent property owner or other reviewing agency so far.
Yeah, you would think they'd want to combine them, because that'd save a bunch of money.
So-
But whatever.
So before you move on from 1 through 5, I'll hit number 6, because it is,
Don't really care about saying.
Well, I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
and the last application received in a slightly different address, also still in Bay Creek, it's 124 Creekside Lane, and again, that's coming off of Creekside Lane, Creekside Road over there. And they are looking for a private pier with a boat lift slip. So it is slightly differently, but same thing, it does not fall under your jurisdiction. This would be a by right use allowed under our ordinance, and our ordinance mimics state code as well, just so you're aware of that. So that's it. I really don't need a vote from you on any of the JPA applications. We just wanted you to be aware
I
of them
did
at
have
this
a
point.
question on Creekside Lane.
Yeah.
I paddle back there a lot, because I live one neighborhood over. And just the last year, I mean, they did clear, my understanding was just sold, but there was a lot of like clear cutting of trees going on.
They
there.
actually came to me for this lot, they came to me in the fall, and they submitted a plan for some thinning out along the tree line under the RPA determination, and I did approve that clearing plan,
Okay.
yes.
Because I know like previous lots, and I got
Yes.
from the previous board member, they did find some individuals for like clear cutting.
Yeah, further up, not necessarily on the point, but further up on Creekside as you go in, we did have some unauthorized clear cutting that happened right as I
Couple
came on
years
board,
ago, yeah.
yes. And we dealt with some violations, and we're still working on replanting plans with that,
Sure.
yes.
When,
So-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
When we approved this one up here, well, actually, we kind of approved it.
For our,
It had to go through VMRC. Does this have to go through VMRC also, or?
Yeah,
for
all of
approval?
these, all the JPA applications start with VMRC. They
Okay.
are the clearinghouse, and so they're the ones who send it to us. They're waiting to hear from us if a Wetlands Board permit is required. My answer is going to be no,
No.
and so then we're going to then say, did we approve it administratively? Yes, and they'll get a copy of that
was
letter.
in our jurisdiction.
Yes.
right, in these-
And so I have talked with VMRC. So far, none of these are rising to the level that is actually going to require a full hearing before VMRC either. So-
The only thing that I saw that I had a question about is during the construction, it said they were going to be coming landward and seaward. But there's also those oyster leases, and I was wondering if the construction of that would actually interfere with the oyster lease.
That may be the one at 124 Creekside may be the only one that may trigger a VMRC review because of the oyster leases. And they are still looking at that. I've not heard
So they'll
definitively
look
what
at
they're
it,
going to
so-
do. Oh, yes,
okay,
yeah. Okay, so moving on.
Great.
Everybody good? We do have some other matters that actually do require your attention on. We started this when I came on board about 2 years ago of creating an annual report of your activities, and it's been provided to town council already. Normally, I try and have you review it before it goes to town council, but since we haven't met, I typically submit these in February or March to town council for their acceptance of all of the boards I staff. So we are providing that for you for your at least review and input. If there's any changes, of course, it will entertain any changes to it, and we can amend that to the town council's
I think when
version.
they had our annual meeting, didn't didn't I sign that already too? So it is
Yeah.
technically signed.
Yes.
We can amend it.
I needed to get it in because I didn't want to be behind for you guys. So if there are any changes, let me know if you've had a chance to review it. Hopefully it captured
Looked good.
everything.
Good to me.
Did you have any?
Okay.
Okay.
So we are proposing one change to your bylaws. So under state law, there were certain provisions under COVID that allowed for electronic participation. When all of the COVID statutes got lifted by the governor, so did that authorization. They finally put in legislation through the General Assembly, and it's been tweaked over the last 2 years. But here's where we are now. If we wish to have electronic participation, each board must adopt a policy. It cannot be town-wide, meaning the town council can't do it for all their boards. Every board has to do it. So as you're meeting, I'm having each of my boards review this to determine if they would like to adopt a policy of such, and if so, we've proposed one for your consideration. So that's up for you to take a vote on.
Okay. Anybody, I have no issues with that.
No
Seems
objection, yeah.
pretty standard across all the boards, so. Mike, you have any issues or?
So,
Can we make a motion then?
yes, please.
So would anybody like to make a motion to adopt the policy or change our bylaws for the policy for remote participation?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. And a second? Second. Mike, all right. And any other discussion on that? Seems pretty straightforward. Thanks for sending that ahead of time. All in favor? Say aye.
The last one, I didn't put it on my notification, I just wanted to make you aware. DEQ, who oversees the Chesapeake Bay Act, typically does an audit every 5 years of localities for compliance with the Chesapeake Bay Act. They had stopped that about 2012 due to funding and reshuffling of how they were managing the Chesapeake Bay oversight in their agencies. Because it used to be under, the first agency was the Chesapeake Bay Local Assistance Program, and then that got moved over into, I don't know, another department, and then finally, sometime back in 2014, DEQ became the home of oversight of the Chesapeake Bay Act. They finally have funding in the state budget to resume that inspection program, and I'm telling you this because we're locality number one back in that cycle for the audit, which isn't a bad thing, trust me. We have been working very hard to update our website and ensure we're doing all of our compliance reviews when all the building permits are coming through the door, when we're looking at site plans. So I've already had one meeting with them. They're coming back at the end of July. They're going to do a couple site visits for about probably 8 properties just to spot check and see how we did on our administration of the act. I tell you that because you might get wind that we're out in the field. Yes, we are. And they won't finish their analysis till probably October, when I'll finally get the final compliance report in to the town. If we have any mistakes or issues that we need to correct moving forward, we will do so, of course, and we'll keep you and the town council informed. While you actually we do not have a board that has direct oversight of the Chesapeake Bay Act. That falls under just my domain. You dabble in it. You're part of this process with me, so I want to keep you informed as to how we're doing in that process. So, and that's it.
We got to officially close, so the next meeting
can
will be the 21st, right? Okay. go ahead.
It'd be,
I just
yes.
got one, a follow-up, and I appreciate you giving us that update on the Hainsworth, was it?
Yes, I sent out by email where we stand with the Hainsworth property,
Yeah,
yes.
and a lot of that was approved, but the revetment and all that, is that still outstanding, or?
I've not seen the final permit come from VMRC. I know there was still a little tweaking going on.
Okay.
So as soon as I get that, I, of course, will share that with you.
Yeah,
And
that's what
as
I
soon
was-
as I know when the building, because the building permit has not been submitted yet because they're still waiting on VMRC approval.
Oh, I see, okay.
So-
Yeah, that was helpful to me to actually see,
Yes.
what we worked on, and it
Yes.
actually was going through, and how long it takes, obviously. 'cause
Yes,
It takes a while.
it does take a
Okay.
while.
That was, thanks.
Okay?
All right, any other questions? Great. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I have a motion to adjourn.
Second. All right, all in favor?
All right, thank
All right,
you.
We're adjourned.